Hey guys, so I've gotten a lot of questions lately about these two videos that I made back at the end of last year where I discuss this condition I was diagnosed with called Meniere's disease. And I've just gotten so many questions from people both online and on real life asking, how I'm doing, if I've noticed an improvement, just basically what's the status. Also, a lot of the people who've been asking are people who themselves were diagnosed with Meniere's disease. So I just kind of wanted to give an update video. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I've just been putting it off. But yeah, I'm going to tell you guys how it's been going, how I've been managing my symptoms, and basically just give you an update so people can stop asking. First of all, I have to say I was a little embarrassed seeing myself in the videos afterwards because, I was being dramatic. It really sucked what I was going through. It really sucked. For those of you who don't know, Meniere's disease is, I can't explain too much about what actually causes it and what the condition actually is, but I can tell you about the symptoms. I just had this constant roaring, ringing, loud sound in my ear. Sometimes it was so loud that I couldn't hear what a person was saying if they were right in front of me. Like, it was that bad. And then on top of that, that came along with vertigo, so losing my balance, which is really bad because I practice yoga all the time. You guys know I'm very passionate about that. And then also the roaring and ringing really sucked because I'm a musician, and it particularly interfered with my ability to hear low notes, which is the worst because I'm a bass player, so it was really getting in the way of my life. And anybody who has it will say the same. Even if you don't practice yoga and even if you're not a musician, it was just annoying. It was so annoying. It was driving me crazy. I felt like my life was ruined. So that was the mindset that I was in, that I was just going crazy and I just needed answers and I kind of just wanted to rant. I just want people to know, I'm never looking for sympathy. I'm never looking for people to feel sorry for me. When I make videos like that, or just videos where I'm complaining, I'm just looking for answers, or I don't know, or even just a simple "that sucks." Just a "that sucks" comment would be enough for me. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't want any "poor you" comments or "I feel so bad for you." Don't feel bad for me. Life sucks sometimes. What can you do? So in my last video that I made on this topic, the one where I was getting the hearing test and the MRI, I had mentioned that sodium intake was linked with Meniere's disease. Because I guess your inner ear fluid filters sodium, and sometimes if you're having too much, it can cause a flare-up. So my doctor had recommended that I just drastically limit the amount of sodium I'm eating. I think the recommended daily intake of sodium is 500 milligrams, something like that. I could be wrong, but I was eating way less than that. And I didn't even realize how much salt I was eating. It's not just the salt you add to food, but there's salt in everything. In the nuts I was eating, in the vegetable stock I was buying, even some of the drinks, some of the juices I was having, there's sodium in everything. So it was kind of hard. I felt in a way I was sort of going through withdrawal at one point. I was getting these headaches, but I would have taken anything over that awful ringing in my ear. So I just basically quit cold turkey. You have to have a little bit of salt. You can't avoid it completely, but I drastically reduced the salt in my diet. And I mentioned at the end of that video, which was filmed sort of over the span of almost a week, that I hadn't had a flare-up in a really long time since taking salt out of my diet. And this was back in, I believe, December, just quite a while ago, half a year ago. And I think I've only had about 2 flare-ups since then. And the flare-ups that I've had were not I just flicked my hair. The flare-ups that I had were not what they were in the beginning. They would last for days, sometimes 2 or 3 days at a time, where no relief, just constant ringing. That was the worst part for me. The vertigo sucked too, but the ringing I could not deal with. It wasn't just a ringing, it was like you're driving down the highway at 80 miles per hour, sticking your head out the window, roaring. that kind of sound. That's what I was dealing with constantly, 24/7. But the couple of flare-ups I've had since then, very short term, not that intense, like not nearly even close to that intense. Just mild vertigo. It would last maybe like 20 minutes, if that. So like nothing compared to what I was doing before. And I noticed that when I did get those flare-ups, that it was after consuming a lot of salt. Because I did, after I noticed the symptoms started going away, I started bringing salt slowly back into my diet. I'm not adding it to food like crazy. I'm still buying low sodium things, but I'm not like scared of salt. You know what I mean? So I started slowly bringing it back into my diet. And I noticed that on days that I have higher amounts of sodium, that's when I get the ringing in my ear. So I guess it was just my wake-up call. I was eating way too much salt. As soon as I was aware of that and started making some changes to my diet, it made all the difference. I feel like I'm cured, but I want to talk about that. So I was thinking it's possible I was misdiagnosed, because people who have Meniere's disease, they know it's a lifelong condition, like it never goes away. So if I actually do have Meniere's disease, I can't be cured. It could be possible that I've just suppressed it, I guess. But for people who do suffer with Meniere's disease, I've noticed two different theories with what I'm going through right now. Some people are saying it's because I'm still very young. When I'm in my mid-20s, and when you're in your 20s, apparently flare-ups don't happen very often and they're not as intense, but then they start to get more intense and last longer and happen more frequently as you get older. So if that's the case, I'm not looking forward to that, but that's one theory. So it's possible I do actually have Meniere's disease, but it's just because I'm young, I'm not dealing with it that badly right now. The other possibility is that I don't have Meniere's disease and I was misdiagnosed. The ear, nose, and throat doctor I went to has a very good reputation. He did a bunch of tests and he's diagnosed a lot of people with this condition. So it seemed like somebody who knows what he's talking about. And he was the one that told me, stop eating so much salt. Like, try to just get salt out of your diet. And as soon as I did that, I just noticed the symptoms went away. And I'm not eating even close to the amount of salt that I was before, and I probably never will again, because if I do, I guess there's a possibility that these symptoms would come back. So I have no way of really knowing unless I just tried it on purpose, but I don't want to do that. Especially like once salt is out of your diet, you don't really miss it. Like, you get so used to the taste, you know? Anyways, I'm getting off track. So I don't know, it's possible I was misdiagnosed, but I mean, it's weird that as soon as I stopped eating salt, I stopped getting symptoms. That's what my doctor said would happen, but it's also weird that the symptoms just like completely vanished. Like that seems too good to be true, you know what I mean? Like no medicine, no invasive treatment at all, like purely just me changing my diet. So I don't know, maybe I have Meniere's disease, maybe I don't. All I know is that when I took salt out of my diet, it made all the difference. So that's where I'm at right now. I do want to clear up this myth. People were saying that I got this condition because of a poor diet, because I'm malnourished, because I'm a vegan. Of course, like, I knew people were going to say that. That's so predictable at this point. But no, going vegan or being vegan does not cause Meniere's disease. I've talked to a lot of people who are diagnosed with this condition and not one of them is vegan. So, plus vegans eat the least amount of sodium. Like all the sodium is like in meat and cheese. Oh my god, it's so abundant in cheese. But anyways, if you're gonna link diet to Meniere's disease, you should look at like the standard American diet, because most people who have Meniere's disease are eating a standard American diet. So like, I don't think being vegan has any sort of correlation. I will add that we don't actually know what causes this condition, but some doctors and scientists believe that it could be caused by an injury to the ear. And about a month before I started having these symptoms, I was playing with my dog, and he's a really big dog. He's 75 pounds, and he got a little too rough, and he accidentally hit me right in my ear so hard that it actually knocked me out for a few seconds, and then I started getting these symptoms. So again, maybe these symptoms were just brought on by an injury. Maybe I don't actually have Meniere's disease, but I don't know. It's such a complicated condition. Even like doctors have commented on my videos and said it's actually really not easy to diagnose. It's just one of the least understood conditions of the inner ear. So, but if any of you guys have any thoughts or opinions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'm curious to know what you guys think. If anybody of you for sure has Meniere's disease and had success with taking salt out of your diet, then maybe just write your experience with that. I'm sure people would be interested to know. But anyways, to answer your questions, I'm doing so much better now. I appreciate all of your concerns. I can hear out of both ears and I'm not getting vertigo. It's great. I actually feel much healthier than I've ever felt in my whole life. So hopefully it'll continue this way. I'm going to try to keep limiting the salt in my diet regardless of whether I have Meniere's disease or not. And yeah, if any of you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your concerns. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.